6 days ago was my 4-year anniversary for quitting my job to do YouTube full time. And so I've put on this dress to celebrate, kept my socks and slippers on though, and it's time for my yearly update. Hooray! In this video, I'll tell you what's happened in the last 12 months. I'll talk about my channel growth, the lessons learned and challenges that I've faced, the amount of money I've earned and how I've made it, and my future plans. And I'm excited to share this update because I feel that this past year has been kind of revolutionary in some ways. And even though I haven't achieved what I set out to achieve with my work, I've learned a lot and I'm looking forward to reflecting on it all in this video. So what's happened over the last 12 months? The main updates since my last update video are I found another way to make money, which is a passive income stream. So I'll cover that in the money section of this video. I've made a variety of different videos over the last 12 months, one of which was a documentary video. There's a lot to say about that one. And then I made a video that kind of went viral, so we'll delve into that. In my last update video, I was desperately saving to buy the house that I was renting, and I thought that I was going to be able to do it, but it turns out that I couldn't earn enough money for a deposit or a mortgage on that house. So then I had to move out. But there was a positive twist that I didn't see coming, and I'll explain that. And on a personal level, I found something out that I'm going to say it's revolutionary and it's positively transformed my life. There's also something I totally forgot to mention when filming this video, which I'll explain later. And I've never spoken about it before, so I'm looking forward to telling you about it. I hadn't realised, I counted the amount of videos that I made in the last year and it was 26. And that may not sound like a lot, but I hadn't realised that I'd made that many. In those 26 videos, there was a variety of different styles. I made a kind of Ali Abdaal productivity type video, an hour-long documentary, a 48-second fun video challenge. I did some experiments, tried some different therapies. I made a book review. There's a lot of different formats, styles and topics, which I'm not sure is a good thing or not. But that kind of shows you I'm still finding my way and learning, even after 4 years of doing this. And I'll admit, I thought that I would have had it sussed out by now, but I don't think I have. Let's look at the viral video. I knew that video was going to do well because I'd seen other people do it and I saw that it was a popular topic. But that's not the reason that I made it. I made it because I was intrigued about celery juice. I'd seen other people do it and the results that they got, and I wanted to try it myself. So I did. And it was funny because I knew how I was going to edit that video as soon as I started filming it. And that isn't normally the case with me, but I could kind of see it and everything just kind of fell into place. And I really enjoyed making that video. And it seems that other people are enjoying watching it. It's on its way to 1 million views, and so far it's earned me $9,500, which isn't bad seeing as the juicer and the celery that was in the video cost me only $200. You may wonder, seeing as that video did so well, then why don't I make more videos like that? Even though they do make a decent amount of money, for me, if I made them all the time, it would feel superficial and a bit gimmicky, and then I'd only be doing that to please the algorithm and chase the money, and they're not the key drivers for why I do YouTube as a job. I do it because I'm interested in certain things and I'm curious about things and I want to document my experience, and sometimes that means making videos that don't get that many views. I made a documentary style video. This topic was something that I'd wanted to do for years, partly because I was curious to experience it for myself, and also because I hadn't seen anyone else film something like this in its entirety in this way. I gave that project my all. I left my heart and soul in the edit, which looking back, I don't think was a good idea, but I made the video and I'm incredibly proud of it. I think it's one of my best pieces of work so far. And the funny thing is, Oh, I can't wait to tell you this. I can laugh about it now, but I definitely didn't laugh about it at the time. Due to the topic and the nature of that video, even though it was monetized for the first 35 days, as you can see by this graph, it was then placed under restricted ads, which almost means, well, it might as well have been demonetized, meaning I make hardly any money from it now, as demonstrated by the flat line on this graph. And I won't get too much into it because it's not necessary, but it still kind of confuses me how a channel like the Try Guys can make a comedy style video about the same topic and have a monetized video, and then these three random dudes share their very random and, in my opinion, very irresponsible experience about the same topic, and their videos are monetized. And then there's me, I go to a therapeutic retreat, have professional supervision, and I go for health purposes, and my video is demonetized. Try and figure that one out. Anyway, I'm over the pain of that now. Do I regret making that video? Not at all, because it was life-changing for me, and I know other people have gained value from watching that. Would I do it again? I would do it in a very different way. So that viral celery juice video I talked about earlier, that video took me about 5 days to make. There was a bit of filming for the actual challenge itself, but not that much. And I made over $9,000 from that, and it's still earning me money now. The documentary video took me 3 months to make. I spent around $5,500 on the retreat, travel, music licenses and custom graphics from various artists, and the video has generated $2,700, meaning I have a $2,800 loss. But that video wasn't just about a loss of money. I don't really care about that, although that's not very good business sense. The issue was that I gave so much of myself to making it, and it completely drained me of energy and resources. So there's a nice lesson for me. These big videos that I dream about often aren't a great idea, and that's not to say that I shouldn't pursue them. It just means that I need to approach them in a different way in order for them to work financially, but also for me personally in terms of my health and my life. And here's something to put all of this into perspective. It's quite funny really. The 48-second video that I made, which took me 3 hours from idea to publishing, that's generated $500. And granted, it's a bit of a silly video with no real value, but it shows the contrast between these two types of videos in terms of money made or lost and time and energy. Since my last update video, I wasn't able to earn enough money to buy the house that I was renting, which, as you can imagine, didn't make me feel great. However, in a turn of events, which is why I made the book review about The Alchemist, because it was all tied in, I ended up buying a house with my mum, which is really cool. Even though we're moving house and unpacking, we're still getting our protein in. And we moved in 4 weeks ago and we're settled in. And now I have a permanent home, which I haven't had for years, so that feels great. And I'm sure that having a permanent home will have a positive impact on all aspects of my life, including my work. I know some of you love seeing Charlie in my videos, so here he is, loving his new home, especially that he gets to live with me and my mum. He is so happy here. One final thing before I talk about my channel growth, the money and all of the other stuff. In my personal life, and I share a fair bit of my personal life because it's linked with the topics that I make videos about. I was diagnosed with ADHD 6 months ago, and it's been incredible actually. It explains so much as to why I am the way I am. In the past, I've struggled a lot with certain situations. My energy and focus would be up here one day and down here the next, and I honestly thought something was wrong with me. And it's a huge contributing factor as to why my video uploads have been so inconsistent in the last 4 years. Now, knowing my brain works a little bit differently, it's relieved so much upset and discomfort from my life. And with that upset and discomfort pretty much almost gone, my life is so much easier, which means my work is getting easier. My channel growth has been slower this past year compared to other years, and I know why that's happened. Here's the number of subscribers for the first 4 years of me doing YouTube as a job. And I should actually be showing you the amount of views that I get each year and not the subscribers, because the views is where the money is. But for the sake of consistency over the previous videos, let's stick to subscribers for now. You can see in the past 12 months the channel growth has slowed, and that's because during my 3-year update video I was mid-burnout. I was totally and utterly burned out, and a few months after that video I was so ill. I was so ill it meant that I couldn't work for weeks at a time. Then I'd come back thinking I was better, and I wasn't. Then when I was finally better, I started doing a Swedish death clean, which is decluttering and organising all of my belongings. And because I don't own a lot of stuff and I'm quite tidy, I thought that process would take about 5 days. It took 3 months. And because I threw myself in fully committed, no surprise there then, it was difficult to work and do that, especially when my mum decided to get started on her Swedish death clean. So she wanted my help. Thankfully, I have a job where I can take time away and still earn money. Wow, am I grateful for that. And I'll explain how I can not work and still make money in a minute when we get to the money section. After the Swedish death clean, my mum and I decided to buy a house together, and that process happened really fast. We had a conversation about it one day, and then 2 weeks later we'd found the house that we wanted to buy, and she'd sold her house, and all the paperwork was with the solicitors. It went so fast that I could barely keep up. Piece all that together, and over the last 12 months there have been big sections of time where I wasn't posting videos, hence the slower channel growth. After 4 years, I realise videos take ages to make. I finally accepted it. I've spent 4 years wishing for the process to get quicker, thinking the more videos I make, the quicker I'll get. But the reality is, videos just take a long time. Although, after my recent breakthrough in life and having a stable home and the whole ADHD thing, the process is getting easier and quicker. The bigger my channel gets, the more eyes that are on me, and that can make it hard sometimes. But I remember something that Matt Diavella said ages ago. Something like, when you have 100 subscribers, act like you have 1 million. When you have 1 million subscribers, act like you have 100. And when I first heard that, I didn't really understand it, but I get it now. With more views means more eyes, more criticism, more expectations, more of me sharing my stories and my personal experiences, which brings me on to a common question that came up in the community. How do I feel about being so open about my personal stories and sharing them online? There are times when I look back at certain videos and I think, why did I say that? Why did I go into so much detail? And when I think about it, it can feel weird that a random person up the road or someone at my gym, if they watch my videos, they will know quite a lot about me. I talk about some stuff because it kind of helps me make sense of certain situations, and I'd like to think that it might help someone else too if they're feeling the same. Something that's become a bit tricky for me over the last year or so is sponsorships. You may or may not have noticed I don't do many sponsored videos anymore. Let me tell you, some companies offer so much money for a sponsored section in videos. I had an email from a company a few months ago who wanted me to talk about their app for 90 seconds in one of my videos, and in return I would get, are you ready for this? $8,000.
$8,000?
And that was straight up, no negotiation. I'm sure I could have negotiated that to more like $10,000. And they were so persistent, email after email. I turned it down. And this was when I was trying to save to buy my house as well. And my friends thought I was crazy. And this isn't a humble brag, by the way. I said no because I'd never used the app. I read reviews about it and they weren't very good at all. And I wasn't going to come on here and feed you some bullshit for an app that I've never used and that other people didn't seem to like either. It all comes back to me wanting to work the way that I want to work. Otherwise, I'm at the mercy of brands and deadlines and the algorithm. So in which case, it's like having an employed job, having a boss and answering to someone who pays my wage. One company that has allowed me to do my own thing ever since I started working with them is Vivo Barefoot. And although this part of the video is pretty much an ad, I'm also going to share how I came to work with Vivo Barefoot and how we work together. If you don't know, Vivo Barefoot make barefoot style shoes. Barefoot style shoes have a thin, flexible sole so the foot can move freely and a wide toe box so the toes can spread. I first started working with Vivo Barefoot in 2018, and I say working, I mean that in a very loose sense. They simply sent me a pair of their shoes and I rode across the Atlantic Ocean 6 years ago in them. When I got back from doing that challenge, Vivo Barefoot invited me to do some talks at the summer festivals that they were at. Then I did some sponsored Instagram posts with them, and then when I moved over to YouTube 3 years later, I asked if they would sponsor some of my videos and they said yes. They're now my favourite company to work with. They let me use my creative freedom and most of all, I love their product. Unlike conventional shoes which squeeze the feet and toes into their narrow toe box, I mean, when you think about it, it's totally bizarre that it's become normal that we do that to our feet. Vivo Barefoot have this wide area which allows the feet and toes to spread. Having that extra room can help with bunions, foot pain, balance and foot and ankle strength. And you don't even have to wear Vivo Barefoot shoes all the time. Perhaps just try a pair for the gym or for a walk around the block to give your feet a little relief from being cramped up in shoe-shaped shoes. If you decide you want to give them a try, Vivo Barefoot have a 100-day trial to make sure you get on with them. So before the 11th of May, use the 25% discount code, and then if you miss that, you can still get 20% off. I filmed a lot of videos that I haven't made yet. I'm quite good at doing that. I get all excited about something and then I get all confused and overwhelmed, but we now know why that happens. But with the revelation of learning how my brain works, I am getting better at being more consistent with my work. At the end of my last update video, I said that I had 2 goals that I wanted to achieve by this video. And I have set myself 2 goals by that time. So let's see if I can do it. Well, yeah, they totally didn't even happen, not even close. Some videos that I've already started making are my Swedish death clean. I've used castor oil on my eyelashes for the last 100 days to see if it would make them grow. I bought this Whoop health tracker. I bought this with my own money, so it's not sponsored. And I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I've used tretinoin on my skin for almost a year to increase collagen. The results have been good. I've tried rebounding and I also had the most fascinating treatment called TRE, which stands for Tension Release Exercises. Have you heard about it? It was so bizarre and it was so good. That's so bizarre.
When I hear people say, oh, this is so weird, which means I'm doing a good job, that's exactly what you should be feeling.
Okay, we're going shoulders now. Oh, it's ridiculous. A highly requested video is about my gorgeous cat Charlie. I'm sitting doing my work and look. That is such a funny position. You look very beautiful. You look very nice in that box. And this one is a bit random. I rescued a baby duckling the other day who got separated from its mother. You're getting the hang of this, aren't you? It was just the sweetest thing ever, and I took care of it for a day before taking it to a rescue centre. I mean, I did consider having a pet duck and starting a new YouTube channel, but I'm not sure what Charlie would have thought about that. Anyway, I got plenty of footage of it, and I know it doesn't fit my channel, but I really love animals and it did make me cheerful. Would you like to see a video about that? Okay, now it's time for the best part. How much money I've earned in the last 12 months from doing YouTube as my job. Now I have 5 ways that I make money from YouTube. And when I see this list, I sometimes can't believe it. It's the kind of list that I would have liked 4 years ago. And it makes me realise that I needed to do this job for 4 years in order to have these incomes. Ad revenue is where I make money from the adverts that YouTube puts at the start, middle and end of my videos. And for the topics that I make videos about, I get between $5 and $11 per 1,000 views for my videos. Sponsorship is when a brand pays for a section in a video. For digital products, if I make a video with lots of information in that I think people would find helpful written down, I summarise it on a sheet that can be downloaded. Affiliates is when I mention and link a product in a video, then if someone buys that product, I get a small commission. And my new revenue stream, which I'm so happy about, is I started selling my own merchandise. And I'm really looking forward to telling you about this because I've always known that I've wanted to do it. I just didn't know when or how. In ad revenue for the last 12 months, I've made about $38,900, which, as you can see from each of the months, the amount is very variable. In sponsorship over the last 12 months, I've earned around $21,000, and I definitely could have earned more from sponsorship if I had accepted some of those dodgy deals, but I'm happy to earn less because when I show you the figure that I've earned in total, then you'll see that I can live a comfortable life and I can still work by my values. For digital products in the last 12 months, I've made around $6,000. I mean, the figure that I've earned this year is significantly less than what I earned the previous year. In my 3rd year, I earned $22,000 in digital products alone, which is still unbelievable. But that's because those digital products were attached to highly viewed videos. So the more views a video gets with a product like that, then the more products that I sell. And then for affiliates, over the years, with every video that I mention a product in, so for example, I made a book review, and if someone watches that video and then decides that they want to buy that book, then I just put a link in the video description. And over the years, that's starting to really compound. In the last 12 months, that's generated around $12,000. $12,000, that is a lot of money for just putting a link in a video description. And some of this stuff may sound like a flex. Believe me when I say I'm not sharing this to say, look at me and look at me, how much money I make. I do it because when I first started out, I used to watch videos like this and I was fascinated with how people made money on YouTube. There was some stuff that just seemed so confusing to me and I genuinely thought I'd never be able to do it. But over the 4 years, I've gone from earning $165 from affiliate links in my 1st year to now earning $12,000. And the great thing is a lot of this stuff can work in the background and isn't entirely reliant on someone working. I mean, I'm living proof of that this year. As for merchandise, I had a moment come over me in October last year, and I decided the time was right to do it. And I thought it was going to take a day or so to sort out, given the stuff I wanted to sell is pretty simple. 6 full days later, but now I've done it, it's there, I've learnt another skill, and it's another thing working for me. I launched the merchandise in December, and so far have sold 26 things. If you're one of the people who bought one of the 26 things, you are adorable. Thank you. I've made around $260 from selling merchandise, but like everything else, I'm not doing it to earn as much money as possible. I just like having something that someone else can be a part of if they want. And I must admit, it's pretty cool to open my wardrobe and have something that I've designed in it, albeit it's very simple, but that's the point. I wanted to keep it simple and just get on with it. And here's the bit I forgot to mention, and I can't believe I did, because it's a pretty big deal, I think. Some of you may know I have some other YouTube channels. One of them is called a treatments and therapies channel. It's for when I have a treatment and I make a video about it here on my main channel. Some people wanted to see those treatments in full with no editing or graphics, no explanation or voiceover. And making a video like that isn't that much extra work because I already had to drag it into a timeline in order to edit it down to make a video for this channel. So before I do that, I neaten the treatment video up a bit. Then I post the whole thing on my treatments and therapies channel, and I just let it do its thing. And that channel got monetized in October last year, and I very rarely log into that channel, but I did in order to get the stats for this video, and I realised it's made about $1,200 in the last 6 months. And I know that's not loads, but it's definitely something, and it didn't even take that much extra work, and I hadn't even realised. In the last 12 months, I've had around $78,133 come into my business. And this is all from YouTube. I don't do anything else. I haven't earned as much as last year, but I'm not surprised given that I took quite a lot of time away from making videos whilst decluttering, moving house, having burnouts and various meltdowns. But even with the breaks, I'm surprised and impressed how much I've earned. Doing YouTube as a job can be full on and very stressful at times, but my goodness, I love it, and I'm so grateful to have this as my job. I'm also grateful to you guys who watch my videos and leave fantastic comments. My next update video will be next year when I've been doing this for 5 years, and there's definitely some stuff I wanted to have done by then. I just need to get on with it. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video next, so maybe give that a watch.